And now the mark. Oh! Oh! It went to 0.
Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Heard that project is a trap. Don't get rug pulled. Everything they say is kept. Don't get rug pulled. 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 Turn your savings into scraps. Don't get rug pulled. They be plotting on your racks. Whoa, whoa. We gon' know where we at. New USB for my racks. Not slipping, no, I never let. VPN changed the map. He lying, you know that he kept. I know he be hacking. Look at the way I check. The same way I bring racks in. That's the same way I bring racks in.
Damn!
That's the same way I bring racks in. That's the same way I bring racks in. Don't get rug pulled. 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 Heard that project is a trap. Don't get rug pulled. Everything they say is kept.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the FUDDERS stream for this week. We're back with our weekly FUDDERS stream with my co-host BE from the VeVe Drop channel, and of course Mo Knows, where we talk about all the bad news and all the FUD that happened this week. You can see our topics that we're going to be covering today over there on the right hand side. And before we get into them though, I want to catch up with my co-hosts, see how they've been doing this week. I'll start off with you, BE. Did you get any of the big drops that happened this week?
Not really. I was really expecting to be able to snipe one of those trains. Didn't get that. Just there wasn't enough out there. I did get the comic, so that was cool. That was about it. You know, nothing too exciting.
Yeah, the drops weren't super exciting on VeVe this week.
Yeah.
But they did have a cool ElmonX drop. Was you involved in that one? Did you get the statue at all?
No, I did not. I was not involved in that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to talk about ElmonX a little bit tonight as well. And then I don't know what's going on with Mo Knows. Things are dark down there. Mo, you all right down there, bro?
The red alert, bro. Red alert. Let's give him something to FUD about. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get
It was
the
a
FUD
slow
going.
week for me. I didn't really go for much. Like I said, I'm pretty much done with VeVe. DC drop was trash. I'm enjoying my Chico Rocos. I'm having a good time collecting those. Got the actually they went pretty quick today. There was only like 2,000 of them, I think. Like a super secret rare one or something. It went pretty quick. It was like a Stegosaurus.
I was going to say Stegosaurus. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, it went super quick. Usually they sit around for a little bit, but yeah, I'm hanging on to those. That's like the only thing I look forward to collecting every day, which is weird. Not worth anything, but you know,
Yeah.
it's fun.
If you guys don't know about the Chico Roco NFTs, those are NFTs that you can mint for free every day at like, I want to say like 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that what time it is?
4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Okay, so at 4 p.m. you just connect your wallet and you mint them for free. And a lot of the VeVe fam are minting those these days. Before we get into it, we're going to go over the potion numbers, which we always do on FUDDERS before we get into our topic. Shout out to Alejandro, one of my homies. And then we got Oscar here, Moon Boy. So yeah, we're welcome Moon Boys, FUDDERS. Everybody's welcome here, y'all. What's up, True Stoner? What's up, Dr. Strange? Kurazimi's in the house. Daniel Marquez is here. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. What's up, Incorrigible Goat Slayer? Potions-wise, it looks like the amount that are getting burned is starting to slow down. It used to be like 10 per day, but this is a daily potion burn. Shout out to Omi Daily Burn for supplying us with these statistics, and you can see that there are still 1,284 of those Disney transformative potions that haven't been burnt yet. You have until April 26th to burn them, and then you can no longer burn them. We were talking about this a little bit before we went live. BE, what's your strategy here on the potions?
I still think I'm going to wait until the last moment. I'm not quite sure where people are going to take this. There aren't that many posters. I'm just looking at the numbers now. I've got the 1111 potion. I'm not selling that, so I'm keeping that for sure. I still will probably mint a poster, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to wait until we get close to the 26th and make that decision.
Gotcha. I still got 3 potions left myself, but I'm starting to get paper hands on those. I'm thinking about maybe selling. The price keeps going down. I don't even care about the posters, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I know Mo doesn't even mess with BB anymore, so I guess he's not worried about the potions. Shout out to Roger E in the chat. There's Omi Daily Burn there. We got another statistic that's brought to you by Omi Daily Burn we're going to get into later once we get into the last topic of the night. But the first topic is going to be about VeVe's terms of service, because we've seen a lot of people talking about this on Twitter, that they've noticed that in the terms of service for VeVe, it says that they can suspend or close your account or restrict your access to all the services or to any particular NFT or token for any reason whatsoever. And we noticed that, or wasn't we noticed, but Meta Lemon actually pointed out to me that there's a VeVe YouTuber who's in Russia. And I know you're not able to see that, so I'm going to have a bigger graphic here where he got his account disabled, and when he tried to find out why, he got the reply email from the VeVe team that said their only reason was they pointed to that clause in their terms of service saying we may refuse to create an account for you or close your account and terminate, suspend, or modify your access to our services at any time for whatever reason without prior notice or reason given to you. Now, this was a user in Russia, so I'm sure that had something to do with it, but a lot of people, after finding out about this, have become very worried. I'm going to start off with you, Mo Knows, to get your opinion on the terms of service. Do you think, is this something that should worry users? Is this going to scare people away from joining VeVe?
Not really, because honestly, this must be the first terms of service that ever got read in the history of terms of services. Usually people just skip it and they move on. Most terms of services are going to have something like this in it as a fail-safe. I mean, I guess in crypto and NFTs, it could be the Rugpull special, basically covering their ass there. But listen, man, you read any terms of service, there's some shit in there just like that. You know, maybe not collectibles, but basically cover your ass type, wording. That's it.
I hear you. I know a lot of people are worried about it once they found out about this clause in particular on Twitter. BE, did it scare you or bother you at all when you found out about it?
I mean, I actually read them way back when. I know they've changed a little bit, so it worries me a little bit. But I always say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if I do or any of you guys get in trouble and get your account taken, we'll all work together to get it back, because I guarantee VeVe is not going to want the press just taking stuff away. So I think in the end, like Mo said, this is fairly normal to have crazy terms of service just to cover their ass. So I think we're okay, and if not, we'll work together and take them on.
There you go.
Yeah, he might be coming live from a closet, but he does have power. Remember, that is very important.
It's beautiful.
That's a nice closet, though. Shout out to Mr. V's in the chat. Mr. V was our guest last week. We got a guest scheduled for next week and the week after that, but this week it's just us three, and we got lots of FUD to talk about. But unfortunately, this doesn't seem very funny. So what I did is I went and investigated a little bit. I wanted to find out more about it. I wanted to see if there were other terms of service that I could compare it with, and if they were much made you feel more safe about your investment than VeVe's. So one of them in particular is DC Palm's terms of service, which says that they also will attempt to provide continuous availability of the services, but they do not guarantee that the services will always be available or accessible at any particular time, and they reserve the right to modify or discontinue permanently if they want the services or any part thereof with or without notice. So that's kind of the same thing you get from DC Palm. And then I started looking into some other NFT platforms, and I started kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Here's one. I don't know if you guys will know where this one comes from, but in their terms of service, they say, you agree that we, in our sole discretion and for any or no reason, may terminate these terms and suspend and or terminate your account for the app without the provision or prior notice. You agree that any suspension or termination of your access to the app may be without prior notice, and that they're not going to be liable to you or any third party for doing it. And that, my friends, is NBA Top Shot terms of service. So they have something that's, I mean, I wouldn't say similar, almost even a little more scary if that type of thing scares you. And then other people say, well, you got Hero. Hero's a whole different thing because Hero is interoperable. But even on the Hero terms of service, and Mo has a response to this because we were talking about it before the live stream, but if you look deep into the Hero terms of service, they even say that they reserve the right to suspend access to any NFT, which means that if you read further through, let's see, an NFT you require can become inaccessible or unviewable, and under no circumstances will your inability to access or view an NFT serve as grounds for a claim against USPC or any of our affiliate suppliers, which makes it sound like that even after you take your NFT off of the Hero app and maybe sell it on OpenSea or Immutable X, that they can still limit the access to it and make it unviewable, since you really only own that code on the blockchain. They keep the images themselves on their own servers. And Mo, and I know BE as well, had something to say about that. What do you think, Mo, about those terms of service over there on Hero?
I mean, I had to see it in action. I know you were saying if they're hosted, the files are hosted on the server, I guess, but as someone who dealt with it personally, with the bot issues on HRO, I mean, don't forget, I was on HRO the first 30 seconds that marketplace opened, I was sniping action comic cards for like $10, flipped them for 120 an hour later. You know, I was brand new. I just missed the Wonder Woman mythic for $10 because I was sipping my damn coffee. You know what I'm saying? I was there. I watched it from the get-go. We reported so many times, and I'm not going to say who I talked to, but they were very, very high up. And what I was informed was that they could prevent them from coming back in to HRO. But once they're out, they're out there. Now, we didn't really talk about could you view the card, whatever, but they just said once it's out there on IMX or whatever, that it's, you know, that's it. There's not much they can do about it. They didn't even ban the accounts, by the way. All those bots, they got all the reward cards. They got every special card that you get, you know, for collecting early, collecting the full set multiple times. They got it all. They didn't take anything away. And and every piece of it was withdrawn through IMX. So if they restricted anything or whatever, I've never seen any proof of it. But
yeah, that's very similar to VeVe. It's in their terms of service that they could take those NFTs back from people that they find out are botters, but then whenever you ask them about it in the AMAs, they say they're not legally allowed to, even though it says that in their terms of service. Shout out to Shelby Cobra's in the chat. Speaking of Shelby Cobra, BE, what do you think about that? The Heroes terms of service.
I mean, we were just talking about it. You know, I've heard, you know, again, some of this stuff is hosted, you know, off-site, and so I mean we could lose the look of our NFT anyways. I know people disagree that can happen, but you know, again, it's what they do. Are they going to really do it? Do they want the publicity from it? I mean, they're going to get no money if they start taking people's accounts. So I think in the end they're not going to do anything. They're covering their ass, like Mo said earlier. So I'm not too worried about it, especially seeing now that everyone has some crazy ass terms of service. So nothing we can do. We just got to deal with it.
I mean, TLDR, you know, we reserve the right to rug you at any effing moment, right? Like, that's pretty much what it boils down to.
Basically, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's not just VeVe, it's literally everybody, every company. It was probably if I was wanting to get into the Fortnite terms of service, but I guarantee it's the same on Fortnite too. Shout out to Daniel Marquez is in the chat. Make transfers great again. Let's go. Robert says Nike says that they can prevent you from purchasing if they think you are reselling. Nike can't even stop bots. But speaking of Nike, me and BE both got our swoosh accounts today, right before the live stream. I just signed up and got my swoosh. All right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's talk about ElmonX. And I was wanting to get into the old ElmonX and talk about Mr. Jacob Elmon, because I was trying to get into Elmon, and I did buy the Starry Night. I purchased that on their drop. And when there was some confusion in their Discord server and some arguments, I looked up a little bit of information on Jacob Elmon and found out that he was like this 22-year-old kid. Well, maybe not a kid, but a guy who is running this company. So I wanted to really, really dig in deep to this company and see what's going on with it, especially after I had this interaction with them. And if you guys didn't follow the interaction on on Twitter, I had mentioned to somebody, they asked me about ElmonX, and all I said was that the guy was 22 years old, because that stands out as a data point for me. And they got really upset about it. And at the end, they're talking about, or you can read what they say there, nothing really important, just giving them all their information. And my response to that was the videos that they linked were over 10 years old, because they were. The ones they linked to prove who they were actually both of them over 11 years old. And they got really upset about that. And they said it's important that the video is from the aforementioned project, and we urge you to conduct proper research before making any comments or assumptions, which wasn't very rude. And I was just like, that just seems like more red flags to me. And then they got really, really rude, and now they're telling people that they recommend that people don't even talk to me because I tend to exhibit toxic and negative behavior. Negative maybe, but not toxic. I just keep it real. I was just pointing out that those videos were in fact over 11 years old. And of course, another thing I had pointed out several times was that raffle that they did recently, where it seemed like a lot of content creators were the winners of the raffle, and people thought they had handpicked it. And since they had kind of got all mean with me and all rude, I decided to really research ElmonX the last couple of days, really dig into Jacob Elmon's other businesses, which he has 4 or 5. And I did really, really dig into them, and I could not find anything that seemed shady or red flags at all. So I did also go ahead and do an analysis on the raffle, the Elmon raffle, to see if it was in fact all content creators who won the raffle. There it is, finally found it. And there were actually several content creators who signed up for the raffle and didn't win, like Meta Lemon and Kyler from K Collections, Blake and Chad, both from Blake and Chad's Collect and Connect, and O'Milly Tees, who's not a content creator, but has over 5,000 followers on Twitter. So even that one did not seem to prove that anything shady or bad was going on there. And I never was really rude to them or anything. But the one thing that does worry me about the whole ElmonX situation, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it, is something that I had brought up as another thing when I was researching them in their Discord server about a case they had back in 1999 against Corel. And if you guys are old like me, you might remember the Corel CD-ROMs that people used to put out. And Corel put out a CD-ROM with a lot of images that were from Bridgman's catalog. So Bridgman sued Corel, saying that they had the copyright to those images. And the judge declared that they did not have copyright to those images for particular reasons that I want to point out to you. Let's see. So it says here that it claimed that since no other photographs of the public domain works had been authorized other than those that Bridgman itself had been authorized to make by the museums where the works were held, the only possible source for digital images was Bridgman's own digitations. I think this is just talking about what their argument was, but it does go on to say that you can't claim copyright on these, and people were pointing out that this is back in 1999. So what's really important here is this new entry from 2017 on Wikipedia, where it says that the prominent art historians and museum curators and critics wrote to the Times newspaper to urge that fees charged the National Museum to reproduce images of historic paints, prints, drawings are unjustified and should be abolished. And they're talking about here how you can't call these licensed, actually copyright. They can't call these copyright because they weren't created by Bridgman themselves. So do you guys think that what I worry about is if an individual owner of the license, for example, Mona Lisa or Starry Night, decides they want to come in and make an NFT themselves, can't they just get that pulled off of there because they don't have the copyright to it? Or is copyright the same as license, or is that something you're worried about? I know there's a lot to get into, but I did at least want to go through and say that with all that research, I didn't really find a whole lot of shady stuff about Jacob Elmon or the raffle itself. So BE, what do you think about the copyright law when it comes to Bridgman and ElmonX art?
I mean, I think it's always a worry with these types of things where you're taking art, photos, whatever, and using it for something else or making claims that it's yours or whatever. That worries me anyways on NFTs. As far as the law, I'm not an expert on this. It definitely does worry me, though, that at any moment you could have somebody come in and say they have the rights and try to fight you. And just screw up the whole thing for everyone. So, I mean, that's a big worry. But again, I'm not an expert on this. So I don't know. Mo, do you know more about this? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really know or have much experience, rather, with it from like a digital art perspective. But I know from a music perspective, it's basically when it was published, whoever, sent out the rights to it. Even like back in the day, you could, mail it to yourself. And sometimes that would hold up if you tried to copyright it that way. It doesn't always work, but I think with digital art, what's going to be interesting is that now with the blockchain, I mean, with everything being timestamped, somebody's gonna have to set a precedent. Like that's actually going to happen, where somebody's gonna have to come in and try to fight a claim up against somebody who already minted it on the blockchain, has that digital proof. And I mean, according to what I've looked at, I mean, digital art is automatically copyrighted as soon as it's created. So, I mean, if that timestamp is there, then what do they go by? Do they go by somebody's word, saying that they have the rights to it without any sort of paperwork, and that's why it's kind of open to interpretation for public access right now? Or is it going to hold up where, listen, they minted it on the blockchain before you, tough shit.
It's really interesting to see how they had two different judgments, one according to the UK law and one according to the US law. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a really gray, murky area. Hopefully, ElmonX did all their research and they're already very secure with the idea of doing this, or else they wouldn't put their name on it. And, of course, Bridgman, their Twitter tweets about their drops as well. So hopefully it's all good. But I did want to point that out to you guys and give you the information about that past court case where the judge decided that they didn't have the copyright on those images. Uno Sean says ElmonX has banned many people, including myself, for raising concerns about their raffle. It's not right. Yeah, that's the reason why I had an attitude with the guy, because he's rude to everybody in his Discord server. That's why when I found out he was 22 years old, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, so yeah, that makes sense." What's up,
Yeah,
Bioshock?
but you got to think of it this way too, though, right? They've been said they don't have the copyright to the physical image, and that's my point here, right? If it's a public domain or whatever, and they take it and they're the ones that mint it like they did, and that's the digital art copyright law, then they would technically have the stake of claim that they now own the actual legit one.
But it seems like
And
it's
that's what I'm
only
saying.
for a reprint, right?
I would say only of their specific print, not if somebody else does it themselves. I mean, each one's going to be different.
I mean, it would have to be marginally different. I think it's like 10%. 10% like copyright law if you want to even try to make like that's what what's his face has to do. VeVe Arcade. I think it's like 10% he has to change his artwork, or else Marvel and Disney could sue the crap out of him.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. So you just has to be. Well, I mean, who judges what 10% is?
I mean, you probably want to make cover your ass and go 12% when it comes to Disney and Marvel. I mean, listen, I work with somebody, had Deadpool in his name, bro, and like Marvel came after us. Like, it's no joke. And he was, a dude with a couple thousand viewers on Twitch. It's like a, needle in a freaking haystack. And this guy, they worry, so you got to be careful. So if you, I think it's pretty sure it's 10% for even digital art too. So
that's new. I didn't know that. Kurzimi says, if you're a short-term trader, ElmonX is fire. Yeah, all the drops have been above retail, like 4x retail. Future is largely unpredictable in this space, and all of these platforms. That's true. And I kind of feel like the gamble there, the fact that it's possible that maybe in the future these are considered the Mona Lisas and the Starry Nights, how much they would be worth in the future might be worth the gamble. Judah Lyon says, anybody can scan a pic and make it an NFT. Bridgman has exclusive rights with the museum that holds the art, and they have the legit personal image. They have a scan, and it does mention scanning in this Wikipedia article. So I don't know. That's on you guys. But I did want to get all that information out there just for anybody who was wondering. All right, guys.
We will get a case very, very soon. We will get a case, and it will set the precedent going forward. We see a lot of precedent cases coming up because we're stepping into a weird new wave.
Yeah, I was actually seeing in that Wikipedia article where they said that they want another case so that they can get a better determination. They're like, we hope we've got another case, and then we'll know more about it.
Yep.
Blockchain Comics says, this is another Moonboy stream going on with 20 viewers from Jordan Riz. Going on with 20 viewers from Jordan Riz. I don't really understand what that means. I'm trying not to be a Moonboy. I was talking trash about Elmon, and I say that their licenses are reprints, so that's the best I can do. But we got Soulja Boy, and I got nothing but trash for Soulja Boy, y'all. Shout out to Soulja Boy. Tell him that's our next topic, and we're talking about Soulja Boy because he's back into the NFT game. If you're on Twitter, you probably already know about it. And the NFT that he put out recently, a lot of people bought into it. The price went up pretty high on this. Let me show you these. The high, I think, was 0.0279. So these went up quite a bit, 5 ETH total volume. And because they're saying because there was a Ferrari logo in the NFT, they got completely taken off of OpenSea. So all those people who owned them, I guess some people would say got rugged. Now there are other people. I listened to a podcast today who thinks that Soulja Boy there's nothing he could do about it, and everything he's doing is in the right now, and he's great for the NFT industry. He did just come out with another project that he's working on and announced, but he did completely take out that last project off of his profile, his Twitter profile, completely, as if to say it never happened. So I'll start off with you, BE. Are you a Soulja Boy fan, or what do you think about him in the NFT industry?
I mean, this guy's an effing joke. We were talking earlier, he did that video game system. He totally got sued for that. I mean, this guy has no clue about laws. I wouldn't trust anything he puts out. It's probably going to get yanked off the market. I wouldn't waste one penny on it. Go for it if you like it. He's out for himself. I'd be very careful dealing with his crap. That's my opinion.
So he is not a Soulja Boy fan. I will say, nope. I didn't know how to crank that Soulja Boy back in the day. I'm not going to lie to you. Mo, did you crank that Soulja Boy?
I don't listen to mumble rap. I don't listen to that garbage. But I will say this about, he's just trying to manipulate humans, thinking that, 72 hours, they forget, right? Most people kind of get over things. So let's do it again. Worked the first time. Let's do it again. I'd be curious, though, to see if he doesn't make right with people that got screwed somehow, some way, verify the ownership, and hook them up with, a free mint of something on the new one, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe he didn't know. But the same way you got to do your own research when you buy shit, you better do your own research when you mint shit. Because if you're going to start taking other people's logos and stuff, like I said, you can't just take people's logos and slap it on things, man. That's not the way the world works. So if you're buying things and you see Nike, it's not from Nike, probably don't want to be buying it.
True, and like you were saying, a lot of people think that he should have done his own research on that. It's not like he's new in the game. I posted this first tweet that he made on March 7th of 2021, which I think is before I got into VeVe, where he said, how do I sell my tweets? And people finally told him how to make NFTs, and he made his first NFTs out of his own tweets. So he's been in the game for a couple years. Uno Sean says, Soulja Boy's NFTs are a scam. I bought one. Then when I tried to sell today in OpenSea, it warned me, oh yeah, I saw your warning sign, that when I sell, the other party will have access to my whole wallet. Confirmed wallet draining scam. I have seen that error message before, and some people say that's what that error message means. And Uno Sean posted a screenshot of that, and that is from Soulja Boy's new pixelated art NFT. I guess Uno Sean bought one, and then when he tried to sell it, he got this warning message that if he interacts with it, that all of his NFTs are then open to be taken from that wallet that he's interacting with. So this is probably not good for the NFT industry. We don't want people seeing, they're going to hear about Soulja Boy NFT if he rug pulls some more people, and all they're going to hear about NFTs is rug pull. You never hear any good news about NFTs. Bioshock's in the chat, cranking the Soulja Boy. Marquez says, he told you, scamming through the left, scamming to the right. Soulja Boy got you. Man, he's going to make a whole song about rugging. Oh, man. What's up, Winky Jones? We got Kobe Collects in the chat. What's up? Happy Monday. We're having our Rugger stream. We're talking about Soulja Boy right now. And I'm personally, I don't think he's good for the NFT industry. But then again, maybe he ends up coming through with a great project. Maybe it's not his fault that Ferrari logo was on there. That's something he didn't know was going to happen. I would assume there are lots of other NFTs on OpenSea with Ferrari logos that haven't been taken down, right?
Sure.
Yeah, but if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, does it matter? If nobody's buying the shit and it's some dude like me putting Ferrari on an NFT with 10 people looking at it over the course of 5 years, does it matter? No. But you get Soulja Boy, the guy's got, he's got clout, he's got followers, right? He can push fucking, ice to an Eskimo, right? So, my whole take on it though, again, the fact that he was around early on, he's probably sitting around going, you know what? We rugged him once, we'll do it again. It's a whole new crowd, all the new people came in, we didn't rug them. Probably rug their friends, and they probably forgot about it by now. We'll rug a whole new generation. I think the more rug pulls, the better, to be honest. I think we should get as many rug pulls consolidated together so we finally get some sort of regulation, some sort of finality to all this, because until then, it's just going to be uncertainty and money is just going to be floating around and praying you get it back.
Everyone wants to get rich quick, and you're not going to do it with Soulja Boy. There's no effing way. No way.
I don't know. If he put out an NFT where it gave you royalties to one of his songs or something, then again, he hasn't made a hit song since 1999. I don't know. All right, but speaking of regulation, though, that will bring us off to our next topic, and I wanted to talk about politics because a lot of political news has been going on related to cryptocurrency, especially in the United States. But I don't necessarily know that my co-hosts want to talk about politics. Everybody says politics is a hot button issue that they want to stay away from. But I personally think they do that on purpose. They don't want you talking to other people about politics, so you don't find out the truth because other people know the truth and y'all are being lied to all the time. So one of the things that came out in politics that was really big, you probably saw it on Twitter, is that the U.S. Treasury announced that decentralized crypto markets threaten national security. So I looked into that article, a couple of articles where they're talking about that, and what it really boils down to, and it'll tell you right here from the Secretary of the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Mr. Nelson, says, our assessment finds that illicit actors, including criminals, scammers, and North Korean cyber actors, are using DeFi services in the process of laundering illicit funds. So that the national security threat is mainly coming from North Korean hackers. And we got a little bit of an update on that just today, just a few hours ago. It was released on CNN that there was an international sting operation to catch North Korean hackers that just went down. It says here, and I'll pull it up so you guys can see it as well, that a team of South Korean spies and American private investigators gathered at the Southern Korean Intelligence Services in January just after North Korea fired those ballistic missiles. That was when Nancy Pelosi visited close by, and they try to kind of scare her or whatever. They're talking about what they did, but basically they went in, they used a sting operation that was with Americans and with South Koreans, and they're able to start catching some of these blockchain hackers, some of these people that are scamming, and I think that's a good start anyway. And it probably has a lot to do with all the, I don't know if you want to call it FUD, but people talking about what's going on in politics for cryptocurrency and how the decentralized crypto markets threaten national security. Another thing that happened recently, you won't be able to see it there, but I can pull it up in an article for you guys, is that North Carolina has decided to halt Bitcoin mining for an entire year based on their citing concerns about its impact on the environment and the community. So I don't know what the impact on the community would be for Bitcoin. I'm going to send it over to you guys, though. I got a few more things to talk about when it comes to politics, but what do you think, Mo, about North Carolina banning Bitcoin mining for a year?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's all kind of under the same umbrella here. And actually, you can say it's not FUD, but this is actually the biggest FUD of all, because it's an old Gandhi quote, right? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win, all right? Like, they are so scared of crypto completely dismantling the banking system and this whole banking scam that's been happening to us and our families for generations. That's what they're afraid of. So you have to put out the FUD. You have to make everybody scared. You have to plant things and make people think what you want. It's push the narrative, right? It's the same old shit. But here's the thing. If you're mining for Bitcoin in North Carolina, power consumption, stuff like that, it would make sense. I'd buy into it. But I think, again, it's just them buying into the narrative that they want to push the U.S. digital dollar. They want to put an expiration date on our money. They want to be able to taper inflation at any given time. You can wake up in the morning and your money has an expiration date and it's gone. They can do that. If we continue the road that we're going down, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I've always said that rich people are not going to let poor people get rich, and they can get rich through crypto, so they're going to cut that out as soon as possible. However, there are other states who are doing the opposite. For example, Texas recently they did some legislation that is going to count Bitcoin miners as energy providers and give them a lot of benefits, although it could be something that they're hiding in there, and maybe it's a way to regulate them in a way that they don't want to be regulated. I don't know the details of that legislation, but they try to pass it off like it's a good thing for Texas. What do you think, BE? Are they trying to get rid of Bitcoin mining, or are they trying to promote it more?
Well, so I know on the North Carolina, one of the issues was the noise. There is a lot of noise pollution. There's a big humming noise going where they're doing it. So in that sense, I can understand somebody want to regulate for that, throw it in a damn cave or something. But yeah, I mean, as far as trying to regulate, Bitcoin, and it's not a good look. I don't think it's a good look. I think it's, it's a selfish scene. Obviously, they want to control the financial markets. This is something that's kind of, shaking things up, and it scares them because they don't understand it. There are definitely bad actors who are dealing in crypto, but guess what? There's people that print money, right? Those are bad actors, and we still have the dollar. So
yeah, they're in politics.
So right, so you have to regulate. There's no doubt you have to regulate, but get the hell off of our crypto. Let it kind of work its way through the system, do your regulation. But to ban it, except for maybe noise pollution reasons, give them a way out to be able to make it. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's good. It's not good for anyone. I don't believe so.
Right. It's almost like the idea that they want to stop developing AI for a year. And like everybody else said, yeah, you might stop developing AI for a year, but China and all these other countries aren't going to stop developing AI for a year. So now North Carolina Bitcoin miners are going to be set back for no reason other than politics. Incorrigible Goat Slayer says Nike and Anheuser-Busch are fast tracking to consumer boycott, and Crazy Dan agrees as well. And I think that's about Nike and Anheuser-Busch recently using transgender athletes in their ads. And I know this is getting deep into politics. I don't know if you guys want to get into it, but my argument would be that Nike and Anheuser-Busch have some really good statisticians on their team, and they have realized that the majority of people agree with wokeness? Is that what we're going to call it? I don't know. When people see, the majority of people see that as a good thing. That's why they're using it as a way of marketing. If they thought that the majority of people didn't think it was a good thing and the majority of people thought it was really bad, then they wouldn't use it in their ads, right, BE? Or what do you think?
I mean, yeah, they're smart. You know, I'm gonna. This is political, obviously. I don't care what any of you do. If it doesn't affect me, I don't really care. I understand why people do care, and I'm not gonna put them down. But yeah, big companies, if they're going the route of defending people, they're not doing it, you know, because they're good people. They're doing it because it's a business decision. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I have no problem with it.
What do you think, Mo?
I mean, I got two morals that I was raised with, dude. Be nice to the people you meet on the way up, because you're gonna meet the same people on the way down. And, you know, if you don't like the show, change the channel. I don't really care, man. Like I said, if they're not hurting anybody, things aren't getting, you know, blown up and shit. I mean, listen, people do what they got to do. You know, it doesn't affect me. You know, if you look at Twitter, I guess, you know, people are like, oh, there's pushback, you know, right? Those voices are always the loudest. We know that. You know, the people that agree with it, they're not even batting an eyelash, because they're like, all right, cool, we're just gonna roll with it. You know, but there's gonna be pushback on everything that happens nowadays. I mean, it's just a weird time to be alive, man. It really, really is. Like, every day I see headlines and shit that I'm like, yo, if you told me 25 years ago that I'd wake up on a beautiful April day and read this, it wouldn't be reality. I'd be on some freaking other planet with an anal probe up my ass from an alien. Like, it's not. This is some weird shit. This is a weird time to be alive.
Moving towards that movie Idiocracy, in my opinion. Blockchain Comics says, if U.S. bans crypto, not Bitcoin, people think crypto is going to go to zero. Binance is the biggest exchange with the highest trading volume worldwide, and it's not available in the U.S., so crypto will be fine. That's a good point. The crypto does not need the U.S. to survive, and if U.S. goes without crypto, maybe that kind of leaves them behind in the digital world.
Well, right, but that's what just happened, right? And you always got to look at the timing of things, you know? I spoke about this with people years ago when we sent troops to that railroad track that was heading into Ukraine. It was like, nah, it's just, you know, it's just routine. Like, yeah, okay, routine my ass. All right? They knew exactly what the hell they were doing. The fact that the whole coalition now is together with, you know, Russia and China, and was it Brazil? Was it 10 countries, right? Yeah, with their digital currency. Mm-hmm. You know, what does that tell you, right? Like, the rest of the world is not slowing down with the digital world. Embrace it. It's not going anywhere. And if we try to fight it, it's just going to create like a digital civil war with our own people, which then distracts us from the real important part, which is the crazy motherfuckers on the outside that we got to worry about. And we don't have to worry about nukes and shit like that coming over anymore like the old days. Now I've got to worry about some digital infiltration, shutting down power grids, and then you get some micro freaking, you know, bomb drone squad that comes flying in up your freaking toilet. You know, like, dude, we don't know what the hell kind of era that we're rolling into here, man. But we really got to be careful, and the timing tells me that we're fucked. That's what I think.
I hope not. Shout out to Captain Obvious is in the chat. What's up, Captain Obvious? Crazy Dan says they're messing with their kids. That's the main problem. That would be a problem if they were, and you might be right that they are. And they're definitely the ones on the extremes. Sides definitely are. And I mean, like, not even the extreme of the whole woke culture thinks that you are allowed to be transgender and compete in like collegiate sports and professional sports. And I've said before, like, that don't make sense to me. I don't think that's right. So I'm not completely woke, and I'm definitely not woke enough to say that they should be teaching transgenderism to my kid. He don't need to know about it.
You guys both have kids, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, because I don't. So let's just set that straight, right? Let me just set up a question to you. Tell me we're not going to talk about this on stream. I don't really care. But I've offered this question to many, many people. Your son, terrible at basketball, really wants to play basketball, horrible, can't cut it on the men's team, gets a surgery and plays for the women's team, and that's cool? Like, is that the road that we're heading down? Is that like a movie that we're going to see popping up next to The Blind Side? Like, is that, I mean, I don't know, like, how do parents feel about that? Because I think that's absolutely crazy to me, that parents could also be even, like, manipulating their children into being like, hey, you know what, you're really not that good, you know, chop your dick off. You're terrible at basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know. Like, what?
Absolutely
Like, why wouldn't you
crazy.
do it?
But if you look
I
at
mean,
it from this perspective, though, what about this perspective? What if you feel like this kid has no chance of being successful in life, and even if they are somewhat successful, they still got to work a 30K or 40K a year job the rest of their life, whereas they could do this switch right now, turn into a woman, and go and get a full scholarship to whatever college they want, and then play in the WNBA and be a millionaire. Survival of the fittest.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know, from a parent's perspective. That's what I'm saying. Like, your kid's like, yeah, you know what, Dad, I want to play in the WNBA. Like, I can't make it on the men's team. Is that like, is that
If
something
that was
that
to
would
happen, I just don't believe that's going to happen. You know, my biggest fear is any kid and parent making that decision before they're 18 and making a mistake. It's happened in the past. Yeah, you know, it's a touchy situation. There may be certain circumstances where at birth, maybe the doctor chose which one way they were going to go, and you know, they should be female, but they're male and they want to change. But other than that, I think it's kind of a little crazy to allow a child and a parent to start injecting hormones and stuff, you know, to make their kid, you know, something that maybe they don't want to be at 22. They figured out they made a mistake, and then it's over. And if they're doing
right? You
it,
got to be 18 to smoke and drink in a lot of places, or 21, and you know, you got to be of age to get tattoos. You can't drive a freaking car until you're 17, 18. But yet you could do hormone replacement therapy at, you know, whatever, 12, 13, when they feel like they need to do it. Now, I get it. There's medical circumstances where it's like, listen, they need to do this to save this, you know, kid's life, or like medical issue or something with like his hormones or something. I get that part of it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the easy route, looking at the easy button, trying to hit it and just make life easy. Maybe like Walt was saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just collect a paycheck instead of working a job. But if, again, I don't have kids, but I know how I was raised, and I was raised that when you get knocked down, Chumbawamba, you get up again. Okay? You get your ass up, you pick yourself up, and you get up, you learn, and you do it again. And you do it again until you get it right, or you at least get better at it. And eventually you'll learn what's good for you, and you'll find your place in your life. I don't really feel like, again, 12, 13 years old, that's a good spot for you know, for people to really to get into stuff like that. I mean, that's just, we could really get into it, but that's just my general take on it.
Yeah, I agree. That's too young. I mean, if you're not good at sports, just start studying math. I mean, that's not the only thing out there. But I will say that I always keep in mind that I don't know anybody personally who's transgender, and I never felt that way myself. So I really don't have a good perspective. Somebody who maybe is related to or close to somebody who's transgender or transgender themselves would probably have a better perspective on it, and might even inform us on something that we're forgetting here, that we're leaving out, because we're just a bunch of regular old cis white dudes. Is that what they call us? I don't know. All right, there's one more
I
thing.
mean, I guess, but I mean, listen, one last thing I'll say about it, like, I don't like hang out with any or like associate with any, like, I know some through friends of friends and stuff. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, you are who you are. I don't care if you're gay, trans, bi, straight, Chinese, black, whatever, dude. Like, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Like, I'm going to tell you you're an asshole, and that's it. Like, it has nothing to do with anything else. It's just because I don't like you, right? But I don't know, man. It's just
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
I don't know. It's just weird.
I've
Like I said,
had
we'll move on.
lots of gay friends before. I wouldn't say a lot, but several. But I don't think I've met any transgender people. But would you even know? Maybe you wouldn't know. There's one more thing about politics, though, that I wanted to point out before we move on to the next topic, and that's because this just dropped a few hours ago, 2 or 3 hours ago. U.S. presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. Put out a statement saying that Bitcoin gives the public an escape route for the splatter zone when this bubble invariably bursts. And Robert Kennedy Jr. is, of course, the nephew of John F. K. I want to say nephew, maybe great nephew. I don't know. So I'll start off with you, BE. What do you think about this revelation? Does this make you want to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Well, I'm not going to vote for him because he's an anti-vaxxer, no matter what you think. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, so I couldn't vote for him. But, I mean, he has a point. I mean, this is exactly why we want to have other options. You know, I think the U.S. is what we were talking about earlier. The U.S. is really scared because oil and all that is bought with $1, and if we start having Bitcoin and all these things, that's going to take away from our power. So I think that's something we have to keep in mind with the crypto. But yeah, I mean, he makes a good point. But yeah, I'm not going to vote for him. But hey, if he wants to bring it out into the open, I think that's good.
Man, the anti-vaxxer thing is really interesting to me because you got lots of people on Twitter who say that they're purebloods, they never got a vaccine, and they talk about how people are instantly dying. Anybody who dies now is like, oh, they got a vaccine too. That's probably why they died. I don't know, Mo. What do you think about Robert Kennedy Jr.? Do you think he's right that Bitcoin is going to be an escape route because there is going to be a bubble that's going to burst? And is this like you talking about the American economy is about to burst, and we need Bitcoin as our backup for it?
I don't really know if he truly believes it, but I think that the Democratic Party believes it. I think they always have, and I think they're going to push that angle because they know that the Republicans don't. The Republicans want to rely on the banking system like always, tried and true tradition, American
Republicans
tradition.
liked crypto and Democrats didn't like crypto. What about Elizabeth Warren? I'm so confused now.
I'm just saying, Republicans like to own big businesses and take advantage of tax loopholes.
True.
That's what they do. They're not there to put money in imaginary shit. You know what I'm saying? That's for dreamers and Democrats, right? Like, if you love to say it. So from that perspective, maybe he doesn't even believe it. But if he's run as a Democrat, right, then he's going to push that side of the aisle. As far as his vax stuff, I'm not going to get into that. But I mean, listen, I think here's what is weird though. We're going to have a weird election because it's going to be pretty much pushing, I think, for the economic future that we're going to have. And this is going to be a huge election. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to be for the Republicans. Could from what's his face from Florida, make Florida great again.
DeSantis.
Oh, am I drawing? DeSantis, yeah.
Sanctimonious.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be Kennedy Jr. versus DeSantis. I mean, shit.
What are the Democrats going to do? Joe Biden, I mean, he's like 140 years old, but then if you switch to another candidate, that's kind of, it's always bad to switch to a candidate. You always want to run the guy who was president last time. What do you think? Do you think Joe Biden's going to be running again? Do you think he has a chance even though he's 874 years old?
He won't even know. Like, you just don't even tell him. He'll be good. Give him some pudding. He'll be all right.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Ice cream cone. He likes ice cream. Come on.
Oh yeah, ice cream cones.
I like Joe. Come on, guys. He's just.
I don't hate Joe. He's probably gonna run, and he'll probably die in office if he wins. So I mean, he's old. I know everyone has issues with that. So I think maybe we should start voting for people back, when they're like 42, like we used to.
Thank you.
And get away from this like over 65, 70.
I'm gonna say AOC for president. I don't want to hear nothing about it in the chat, but because I'm just kidding. There's other politicians I like more, but AOC is always fun to troll with. Adam says, "Don't be a single issue based voter." I agree. He says, "No one in the U.S. likes crypto because it can't be regulated. Federal reserves are the true bosses." You ain't lying. Fight them or bend the knee. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to give up that power. Captain Obvious says South American countries trading in Bitcoin to bypass the U.S. dollar and sanctions by the U.S., Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia trading in the yuan to bypass U.S. dollar and sanctions. U.S. dollar and sanctions. The U.S. dollar is in trouble. Yeah, the yuan is what they call it. And I think I want to say Argentina or Venezuela that made their national currency Bitcoin. Do you guys know?
I don't remember. I think it is one of those.
Yeah. One of them made their national currency Bitcoin. And like we were talking about earlier, these BRICS countries are trying to create their own gold currency, gold-backed currency. And they're trying to make it that oil is traded in different currencies because since the 1940s, it's always traded in the dollar.
One thing, if I can say something real quick.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. On any of this, guys, and I'm not a financial advisor, I would be careful putting everything in any one thing, whether it be Bitcoin, dollars, stocks, gold, whatever, got to be careful. But I do think there's a place for crypto and NFTs in our portfolios if you want to do that. Just be careful.
All right, let's throw a bomb on the politics and move on to the next topic, our last topic of the night. I'm always like to get into topics. I know other people don't like it, but I'm all about it. The last topic, we're going to talk about the users of VeVe and the number of users of VeVe. Recently, Rootless Girl, aka VeVe Fox, put out a graph showing the monthly active wallets since October. And if you remember, October was the time of the Miles Morales drop. And as you can see, the numbers have fallen. Of course, you always see other people's statistics. Here's one from Omi Daily Burn. If you see some from like Sergio, those statistics always makes it look like everything's going good. So there's statistics on both sides. This one from Omi Daily Burn shows that this was on the day of This was on the day of a recent drop just a few days ago. I'll pull up his YouTube and Twitter account. Make sure you guys are following Omi Daily Burn on Twitter. And this was just 2 days ago, and he's showing where On that day, there were 3,800 in transfers. I'm not sure what they mean by transfers, but I guess that's buying and selling combined, but that equals to about 2,400. But you can see how many buyers there are, how many sellers there are. There's still over 500,000 unique owners, unique wallets, although not all of them are active. I'm going to start off with you, Mo, this time. Let me know what you think about this recent graph showing that the number of users have declined. I'm sure you're not surprised by it. You're one of the recent people who
yeah, I was like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. I'm one of those.
You say you left, but you're still going for the drops, aren't you?
No. What drops am I going for? I got $10 left in my wallet. All right. I was actually thinking, I was like, you know what? I made some money the other night spinning slots, and I was like, you know what? I had like $170. I was like, man, I could pull this money out right now, and I can buy a potion just because I want a potion. They're not going to come down to 125 or I want it. But I was like, you know what? I want a potion. You know what I did? I left my money in the slots and I lost it all. And you know what? I still feel better than getting bent over backwards and fisted up to my throat by VeVe. All right? I'm tired of it. We're done. We're done, Ski. They got nothing left to offer. What are you going to bring me? What are you going to bring me? You going to bring me Pokemon? Wrong. You bring me Yu-Gi-Oh? What are you going to bring me? Nothing. They got nothing left.
You ain't going for tomorrow's drop, bro?
I got $10 left in my account. How much is it? $6.99 or the jacket to $20? They got to inflate their own prices.
$6.99, I think.
$6.99.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, fine. You talked me into it.
This is a good drop to go for tomorrow. We're going to talk about it before we end the stream. So look, Mo's ain't even going nowhere. Talking about he doesn't even mess with VeVe no more. He's going for tomorrow's drop. So don't even listen to him. What about you, BE? What do you think about the number of monthly active wallets going down over time? What do you think the reason for it is?
I mean, people are just fed up. Some of it was the, maybe not being able to cash out. Of course, if you're in the US, you can cash out again. If you're not, you're screwed. I think the excitement just isn't there. I think that, VeVe management isn't really listening to the community. I mean, 2,400 Tarzans, 3,209, trains. We really got to start making these scenes like 500, maybe 800, and create some, scarcity. And I think people will be more excited. They're not selling. And if they're not selling, we don't have people. So yeah, the numbers are going down. Even if they have a drop where they limit you to one, you notice things don't sell out. So there's not that many people using it. I believe it. And VeVe needs to get off their ass and start marketing, start listening to the community, and get their shit together.
Absolutely.
When they get rid of Alex G, I'll come back to VeVe. How about that?
I mean, I'm not leaving. I still think their IPs are amazing. Management pisses me off. But they've got something big here. They really need to just work on learning how to run a business. So,
me personally, I like Alex G. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about, but I do think that there's things that they could do like immediately. For example, on a drop like the Back to the Future 3 train, you can have that train dropping the way it is, but then you can add a second one to it, make it a blind box, make the second one anything from Back to the Future 3. It could be Biff and make it 100 editions, make it 25 editions. Anything there is going to have something where you got something to gamble for, and that 25 edition, whatever it is going to be worth a ton. And then people are going to tell the other people, look, I just bought this for 50 gems and now it's worth 1,000. But one data point I want to show you guys, I was looking up stuff about NFT apps to see where VeVe fit in, and you can see when there's blogs like this, when they're talking about the 15 best NFT apps for easy usability of NFTs. Don't you think VeVe would be number one? VeVe is not,
if they have it marketed.
VeVe is not even on this list, y'all. And then I don't even feel like that's something that you can do with marketing. We'll get to all the platforms that are on the list here in a second. OpenSea is the first one. I'm not sure this is something that it's not like you can market this. This doesn't have anything to do with marketing. They're not even in the conversation. NBA Top Shot is
No, it has
here.
everything to do with marketing. It has everything to do with SEO and their marketing team and making sure they show up in the right places at the right time and get their name out there. They're not doing any of that shit. I mean, listen,
plenty of fish. They're on Plenty of Fish. Doesn't that count?
Yeah, I mean, listen, photo finish is no different. I love photo finish. We'll never discuss them on FUDDERS unless they really piss me off one day. But the truth is, when you look at the list of like digital horse racing games, they don't show up, and it's not because they're not the best. We all know they're the best. The only ones that actually have a playable working product. It's just, again, they haven't focused on the marketing. They focused on the product, did everything half-assed backwards, like I told them. But in the long run, the correct way to do it. So this list may not be the the end all be all, but I mean, in VeVe's case, I just think they don't care. You don't ever see an advertisement. I mean, if they thought Sesame Street was going to advertise for them, well, that freaking backfired. Good luck.
Yeah, I feel like they could have Disney advertise for them, or at least tweet for them anytime they want it. They've done it once already. And of course, they could always go onto an exchange with OMI tokens, which I think would be a huge marketing pump or big advertisement, because that's how I found out about NFTs on VeVe, and that's how a lot of people found out about them. Let me check the chat to see what you guys are doing in here, all my fellow fudders and a few moon boys. Cooley says, Mo is right. VeVe really needs to up their game rather than rely on IPs to carry. IPs are temporary, especially when the quality is going down. Only sold 750 of those trains, and that's wild because that's such a cool NFT. I own mine still.
I know you wanted to make love to that train last time I spoke to you.
I mean,
you own one?
Of course I own one. I didn't know I liked it that much, but okay.
Did you make love to it? Did you sleep with it?
Not yet, but I didn't know that was an option. I can get inside it. I mean, I have been inside.
That's what I'm saying,
Oh man, okay, Albonia. Speaking of getting inside, I think by next year VeVe will go under. Ouch, that's a FUD statement. Let me get that FUD for you, bro. Captain Obvious says, if everyone knows the crypto winter and bear market makes everything drop 50 to 80%, why is everyone so upset when VeVe is down 50 to 80%? Probably because it's down more like 99%. I don't know. What do you think about that one, Captain Obvious? Everyone knows that in the crypto winter and the bear market, everything drops from 58 to 80%. So why is anybody mad that VeVe is down 50 to 80% right now?
I mean, my good shit was down 90%, like you said, so,
That's true. It's the bear market. Is it your first bear market? It's definitely mine, BE.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I mean, I still can make things work in a bear market. It's just, I think new people are disenfranchised right now, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like me and BE, for example, are always sniping on the market and making money on drops, even when it's a drop that's not even profitable. Him more than me. But I mean, then you got all the other content creators, VeVe content creators that are moon boys that are just telling people to buy, and then they just end up losing money when they're not going to the VeVe drop channel and learning how to snipe and actually make money in a bear market. I mean,
it's true.
Trying to be
biased.
Listen,
this is my first, crypto NFT bear market, obviously, like most people. But I did have my Series 7, and I was, working in a stock firm when the tech bubble popped. And I remember I just got my Series 7 right about when the bubble popped. And I remember it was like a Friday. This dude was like bragging all week and made a couple $100,000. And then like Friday afternoon, we're up on the 3rd floor, and this dude's like trying to figure out how to get the window open so we can jump. You know what I'm saying? So like when I think of bear markets, that's the shit I think of. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, this is just, I threw some money in there over the course of past year and a half. Thankfully for Rainmakers and HRO and basically any platform not VeVe, I've been financially profitable on. So thank you for that.
Nice.
But hey, listen, in the bear market, a lot of things that I own that drop 80-90%, fuck it. Long term, hang on to it. Who cares? I would have spent that money anyway. I would have smoked it away. I would have gambled it away. I do not like to save money. So if I'm down 90%, it's better than being down 100%.
There you go. I always said I was going to hold it to the bottom anyway. It was always my plan. Let's see. The Ripper says when FUD is at an all-time high, then hopefully they drop Pokemon. Now, whenever FUD gets high and people get upset in the VeVe community, they do seem to drop some grails. So maybe we start running FUDDERS every day, just hardcore FUD non-stop until they drop Pokemon, because it seems to go that. Maybe we shouldn't do that. That's a bad idea. My bad. How is Vault and Vault the Bull in this stream? I always end up being the Bull, just because these two guys are like super bearish. No, I'm just kidding. These are the FUDDERS.
Wait a second. Hold on. You think that if you stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with FUD until they drop Pokemon, they would never drop Pokemon. They would let you drop dead. They would let all of us drop dead. They don't want you doing that.
That's true. They probably.
One thing I was going to say is,
Randy Chavez, they drop it tomorrow, but go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, we had the Lambo, right? That was supposed to be the biggest thing, and look where it's at. So I don't know where we're at. I'm also worried about how many comic grails do we have? What do we do when we hit the bottom of that? What are they going to pull out of their ass to make this going? So we really need to get more people into the app. They need to do better, lower edition size, cheaper NFTs, and make it more exciting. I mean, the potion at least was something a little bit exciting. They just got to work on price and edition size. And
be real quick. Don't even think about it. Give me 3 comics that are grail that you would think are left on VeVe. Gotta go quick. No looking it up.
That I think are going to go.
You can't.
I mean, maybe they could snag a DC one. Do action.
We're starting. Oh my God, we're going to DC and we're saying maybe. Holy crap! You can't
Yeah,
even
I
give me
know.
one.
Well, that's the problem. Like it, on tomorrow's drop, it's an okay comic. It's not a Grail. I don't know where we're gonna go. There aren't that many more left.
I see Atomic in the chat says Hawk 181. That's the first appearance of Wolverine, I believe. FA Hawk, I think, is Hawk #1, and then X-Men #1. I've heard about that. I always
Captain
think of
America
that
one.
giant size X-Men #1, so I'm not sure what X-Men #1 is. But Cap 1 is another good one. That's the one where he's punching Hitler
We
in the
ain't
face.
seeing Captain America
We've
#1. We
talked
can
about that
discuss
one a
that
lot.
all you want.
Mo says it's never happening because they'll never have some swastikas on VeVe. Maybe they'll blur the swastikas out or something, but they'll have
Then
it.
people will cry and complain that's not the real thing. It's fake. Sue VeVe. Kick VeVe out of freaking commission. It's fake. Ah.
And they already kind of changed some of those covers up a little bit from the originals. Adam says this is not crypto winter for VeVe. This is reality. VeVe is not bringing in new wallets and probably won't. I hope Disney buys them off or buys the collectibles out of the app. Disneyverse. Disneyverse? I noticed, that's what people were saying before the big boom and before the Disney Golden Moments, the same thing, that this is reality and they're never going to have new wallets and we're never going to get a pump. And then it went wild. So, that's where we were before. I feel like we're back to where we were before the big pump in a way. Daniel Marquez says, more VeVe FUD. I also saw someone said OG Vault and Dave had a private meeting. Dave.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave from Wendy's? Yeah, we did. It wasn't really a private meeting. I just ordered a bunch of burgers. No, I ain't have no private meeting. You crazy? Adam says, Pokemon not happening. Nintendo is killing it with these movies. I feel like if Pokemon was going to do something besides with VeVe, that they would have done it already. I don't know. I know this is kind of a cliche question, but I'm going to give it to both of you guys. I'll start off with BE. Is VeVe getting Pokemon and when?
There's certainly a chance. The fact that they got the guy who brought it to the United States on the team. It's certainly a possibility, but there's no way are they going to release that until they have the queue system. So if it's VeVe soon, it's going to be 2 years. So who knows if they'll be here by then. I hope they will be, but yeah, probably not anytime soon. I don't think it's going to happen.
We did see an article recently about how they were talking about hiring people for their NFT project, although they didn't say what their NFT project was. I got that article pulled up right now.
You're doing my work for me. There you go. I don't have to say it now.
What do you think, Mo?
Oh, I think until this comes to fruition, we basically assume that Pokemon is not coming to VeVe. And anytime you see what's his face out there, he's just out there parading his jean jacket around. That's all he's there for. He's there for eye candy. It's he's not there for any relevance to bring Pokemon or anything like that. At least not right now. Again, not according to that article, man. Everything in that article and everything in that filing says they are bringing NFT functionality to Pokemon Go. So we shall see. Stay tuned.
So I have something to say about that, and this is my big FUD of the night. Let me know if I'm right or not, but this is how I feel. If VeVe doesn't get Pokemon, that's a rug because they have teased it so much. They even have Al walking around with a Pokemon jacket on. He's the licensor. They bring it up all the time. They paid Logan Paul to mention Pokemon. If we don't get Pokemon, is that a rug?
Listen. Read the terms of service. They have every right to refuse service and do whatever the hell they want. Basically, stick their fist up your ass and use you as a puppet. So they can say what they want, they can do what they want, but until they have a filing, until they have some proof, Niantic has it now. So that's what I got to go by.
All right. Well, B, what do you think? Do you think that's a rug since they've teased it to us so much?
I'd be pissed.
Everybody would be.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of a rug since they have teased it. They've talked about it plenty of times, So yeah, it wouldn't be great. Do I think it would be the end? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends. Either way, they got to get their shit together, and they're not showing us they can. They're just sending us chill pills, and that's it.
True. All right, guys, before we take off, there's still a couple other things we're going to show you before we end the stream, and we're going to go around and talk about what we're excited about for the week coming up. But if you guys have anything you want to talk about in the chat or any questions, we'll get to those as well. For example, Tron Skywalker here says, do we need bots? Will my collectibles be worth more or worth less if we don't have bots anymore? What do you think, BE?
I've always said that the bots, especially a year ago, helped the market. It didn't help me because I couldn't snipe crap because of them. Because a lot of times there were some that I believe were sniping or had bots that could snipe. But yeah, of course they help the market. I still want them gone. I think it's not, I like this to be more fair for everyone. But yeah, if we lose them completely, and I think VeVe knows it, it's going to kill the market.
I don't know. I feel like we've lost them. What's the point of bots even being here? Maybe for drops like tomorrow, but do they even know? What do you think, Mo? Do we need bots? Are the bots even still here?
So here's a crazy development too when it comes to bots, right? Recently, with AI popping off the way it has been, AI has now been hiring humans on TaskRabbit to do everyday mundane things for them, and they're getting paid. The humans are getting paid. They don't care who they're doing it for. They don't even question it. They're working for AI. So AI already has human beings working for them. Maybe there's AI out there that like comic books and they understand that Superman #1. They have the resources to find out where to get it. They could potentially go and have somebody buy the NFT, or they could actually just start buying them themselves. So I mean, maybe they are good. Maybe AI, turns into like the biggest comic book collecting.
I need more information on this. AI is not sentient yet and creating their own projects and doing wild stuff like this. I don't know, Mo.
Absolutely they are.
I don't know
Absolutely, dude. I've seen, like I said, they're hiring humans. They're doing tasks for robots
Does that Chat
on their
GPT
own.
did this
On their own.
All right.
No, they're doing it on their own.
Okay.
And I know the dude that programmed George Carlin and told George Carlin to go wild. And George Carlin, within 30 seconds, came up with the idea to turn himself into a Japanese waifu with big old titties. And now he's taking donations and selling AI-generated waifu art for money. And the thing made probably 10 times more than Miyu and BE combined this week. I think the AI made like over 10 grand already.
Wow, I'm pulling up articles. I wanted you to be wrong. I wanted you to be wrong, Mo, but you're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to
pretended
explain
to
to you
be
people.
blind
I am
and-
not wrong.
Are they
I
paying
wish I was
well?
wrong.
Are they paying good?
You hear the fear in my voice right now. Like, I wish I was kidding. I am absolutely petrified of what's going to happen in a year now, a year or two from now. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. ChatGPT 4 pretended to be blind and tricked a human into solving CAPTCHA for it. And AI has hired humans to solve CAPTCHA in the past, like Mo said, through TaskRabbit as well. So we are already becoming the human slaves to technology, I suppose.
But I'll say, just think about what I said though. They gave the AI the power to make money. Said, make me money within 30 minutes. The AI didn't say, let me get a responsible, normal job on the internet. The first thing it thought of was like, I'm on Twitch chat likes Japanese waifus. Let me make AI Japanese waifu art. Like, that's the first thing it went to. Isn't that kind of scary too, though? It didn't like try to get a normal job on the internet first, and then like that was the fallback plan. Like it was like the stripper, like that's what it set out to do. Like immediately, like it knew what people wanted. It knew people wanted to be toxic and disgusting, and that's now again it's made like 10 grand this week. Crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm about to turn myself into a Japanese waifu for the next week's show.
And he was trained through George Carlin, so it was almost like part of the way George Carlin thought, and kind of influenced it to go towards the big titty waifu ladies.
That is true, because George Carlin AI does like to talk shit to Twitch chat and then YouTube chat, so it's pretty funny.
Sounds like the real George Carlin. Dan K says Mo used to be a female stripper. That's a good theory.
Fair enough.
Not confirmed, but possible. All right, guys. Before we go, I do want to talk about tomorrow's drop. We got the first appearance of Namor dropping. You can see the CGC prices right there. There are no 9.8s. 9.6 is the highest, and it's at 51,000. 9.4s are at 38,000. And I'll show you guys also the edition sizes, which is 7,500 editions, 7,500. And one thing I forgot to look up, BE, maybe is there a limit on how many we can buy tomorrow?
You know what? That's a good question. I still got to do the video. It's a long day, so I do not know, but I'm assuming it might be one. I can check.
I'm sure somebody in the chat will know. That's one thing I didn't check, but you can see that the lowest serial number is going to be 176, and there's only going to be 188 secret rares. We already know Mo's going for it. We talked him into it already. I'm assuming BE is going for it as well. You think this is going to be one that all 5 rarities are above retail price tomorrow, BE?
Yeah, they'll probably be over retail. I was trying to compare it to Iron Man because it's less editions, less money. Everyone is going to have $6.99 to go for it. I'm not sure where the numbers are going to go. Not professional advice, but yeah, I think everyone's going to be over retail for sure. So I mean, I'm going to be going for it. I think it'd be dumb not to go for it.
And he says all 5 over retail for sure. You might be right. I don't know about uncommon. Mo, do you usually do price predictions? You think all 5 of these rarities are going to be above? Oh, limit's 3. Thank you, guys. There's going to be a limit of 3 tomorrow. So if that gives you a little bit more information about it, you think these will all be above retail?
You know, with a name like Monos, you think I would do more price predictions. I don't really like to touch it. I think uncommon could go to like 649, but yeah, I think the rest of them will probably hold strong, especially if that's the real life value. 7,500 run, makes sense.
Yep, makes sense to me too. I'm definitely going for this one. Might even buy 2. Might even try to quick gate it now that I know we have a limit of 3. It looks like everybody's leaving because it's 7 o'clock. Hey, we don't have no particular time. We were going to sit here and talk for another 3 or 4 hours. You never know. But feel free to take off and have a great night. Actually, this was our last topic of the night. This is our Fudder stream that we do on every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week we have a guest lined up that's going to be with us as well, so we'll probably go over the full hour because we like to talk to our guests and get to know them and make sure everybody who's watching knows them as well. And as always, when we end our Fudder stream, I always want to know what you guys are looking forward to this week in NFTs. I noticed that somebody mentioned in the chat we got 2 DC palm drops coming up, one of them for back cowl holders and the other one they're saying is going to be, I don't know if it's the Wonder Woman first appearance, but people are hinting around that it's Wonder Woman. So I'll start with you, BE. What are you excited about for this upcoming week?
I don't want to say I'm that excited, but you know, tomorrow's drop, I'm going for it, so I'm kind of excited, and then I'm going to be doing taxes and moving shit all week. So
Nice.
this isn't an exciting week for me.
At least the weather's getting nice. At least it is over here anyway. Mo, what do you think? Are you excited about anything in particular this week?
I mean, tomorrow's comic on what's it called?
DC
Palm or DC. I don't know what the hell to call it. Yeah, I think that'll be decent, you know, but so Thursday, that's what I was trying to look up real quick. Is it the Sensational Comics?
I think it is. They're saying it's a sensational comic, and they showed a picture, like they always do, a silhouette as a tease, and somebody found it wasn't a cover, but it was a particular.
It's in the
frame.
Panel art.
Yeah. Is that from the first appearance of Wonder Woman?
Listen, if that is the comic, yeah, that's a big one to get on Palm. I mean, I'm gonna max out and be sniping that one. That is a very, very good comic, and people love Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's one of the top characters, and people have been anticipating this comic. If it's the one that they're saying it's supposed to be, I'll recognize the cover if it's the one I'm thinking of. The first appearance of Wonder Woman, I thought it was like All-Star Comics, but maybe it is Sensational Comics.
No, it's Sensation Comics, and then Wonder Woman #1, obviously, but this is the first appearance of Wonder Woman. This is one of the comics I always talk about, actually.
Yeah, that's one you probably definitely want to go for. If you are with me on the stream and you use my technique, then you're going to have a really good chance of getting that on drop day. And if it is the first appearance of Wonder Woman, they're all definitely going to be profitable and worth going for. All right, guys, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us for our FUDDERS live stream. Hopefully we were fuddy enough for you. I know last time we were a little bit too much like Moon Boys. I felt like we were a little fuddier than usual tonight. And we'll try to be even more fuddy for you next week, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all on the next FUDDERS live stream. Later, guys.
Thanks, everyone.